Hey, it's Brian. Thanks for clicking. Let's talk a little bit about the ZV-E1 and overheating. Good news is I know exactly a bunch of things I'm going to do to extend the functionality of the ZV-E1 when I get my copy. This is simply my mock-up. It's my old 6300 with a wide-angle lens. I kind of wanted to get a sense of the weight, how it would feel. And compared to my A7S III, wow, holy smokes, night and day. And Kevin mentioned this very thing. Are we being too forgiving with overheating on this particular camera? And I think it's a great question, and I've been thinking about it a lot. And I'm like, I actually got like really nervous after putting in my pre-order, like, man, if this thing overheats on me, that's really going to be disappointing. But the fact of the matter is, there are so many things I'm going to do. And again, let's talk about it. First things first. If you're new to the channel, if you just subscribed, welcome. It's great to have you here. Again, I'm Brian, and the idea of this channel is really being curious and creative and exploring and trying new things and striving for one perfect shot, a perfect macro photo, a perfect moonshot. Moonshot. Not that kind of moonshot. The perfect lens. Anything that has to do about cameras, that's what this channel is all about, and I'm excited to have you here. Welcome. Let's start here. The Overheating Table, thanks to Gerald Undone. Amazing channel. I'm sure you're subscribed. If you're not, I'll leave his channel in the description below. This makes me a little nervous. Overheating at 60 frames per second at just over an hour, 1 hour and 11 minutes at 4K 60 at 72 degrees Fahrenheit. 72 degrees, and I just barely get an hour. For me, what I'm looking for is I need an hour of 4K 60 at 85 degrees, summertime. And I think once I get to that level, the likelihood that this camera overheats on me often, it probably will happen. Like I'm out and about, it's summertime, I'm photographing bees, insects, birds, I'm vlogging. It'll happen, but it'll be manageable. But if I can't do something around that, it's going to be really challenging. But why is it that we're so accepting when it comes to Sony with this overheating issue? A lot of creators are disappointed, right? Like firmware. Where's the firmware for our high-end cameras? And now this camera is melting after 5 or 10 minutes. Dan Watson talked about that very thing in one of his videos. And it's really kind of sad that that's happening. But why are we willing to put up with it? Simple. Because we want what's not available. We think about, what is it that makes a beautiful video clip, a cinematic clip? It's the lighting, it's the colors, it's perfect framing, it's understanding what frame rate to use, and its stability. And that's why we see so many creators using gimbals, because it's possible to get beautiful, stable footage that's nearly gimbal-like without a gimbal, with just this camera. And that's a really big deal. For me, the thing I love to do is to be outdoors, to capture photos, videos, to tell a story, to go to Yellowstone for 5 days and come back with something that I can piece together in a beautiful story-driven video. And having the right kind of equipment will allow me to do that. Now, a lot of people are talking about it's not for professionals. But what is a professional? For me, if you make money based on the content you create, aren't you a professional? I think so. And that doesn't necessarily mean, however, that you're filming weddings where you can't miss the shot of the bride and the groom. Can you imagine your camera overheats? Oh my God, that would be a nightmare. If that's how you're planning to use this new camera, maybe not. But if you're a content creator, if you don't have to worry as much, and furthermore, if you're willing to trade things off. See, photography and video is always about a trade-off. It begins when you buy the camera. You trade your dollars for features in the camera you buy. For example, a lot of people will buy this camera to access the amazing sensor that's really capable in low light. If you go out on a full moon and you're trying to capture kind of a full moon vlog, I can't wait to do that this summer. Like, you're going to have a much more beautiful image if you're using the ZV-E1 because of the low light performance. So you trade your dollars to get the sensor to create the beautiful image. With that, let me ask you, which one of these clips do you think was filmed in 10-bit 4K 60 with the highest codecs bit rate, all of it? 10-bit or 8-bit? Let me know, leave your comments below. So about that clip, well, clip A was filmed in 10-bit 422, 60 frames per second. But the B clip was filmed in 8-bit, and I think it looks just as good, or close anyway. Like, how many people are really going to know on YouTube after YouTube compresses the heck out of our files? It's kind of hard to tell. Sure, the 10-bit's going to look a little bit better. I'm not arguing that. However, the trade-off, well, that might be a solution. How about HD? You might think there's no way I'm using HD, but on the Sony ZV-E1 and the A7S III, the HD is actually downsampled from, guess what, 4K. So you get a 4K image downsampled and it looks amazing. It's some of the very best HD footage on YouTube. So that's another option, and I think this is some of the reasons why people are probably like, I'll figure it out. But again, what matters for you is your use case scenario, how many cameras you have, your options, what you're willing to sacrifice to get something else. Like for me, having that buttery smooth footage, amazing. Having that framing option where I could be like setting up a shot and I've got a B camera that's grabbing a few clips of me and it's kind of doing this reframing, that's pretty exciting. I think that's something that'll add more of a dynamic feel to my videos, which is what I want. Again, I'm trying to make something that looks fun and it keeps people watching and it's engaging, and this camera just might do that very thing. And what about that promised firmware update? So we get 4K 120 frames. Obviously, Sony is working on the heat, the overheating, so they're already on it, and maybe we'll get lucky, right? And the camera gods, the Sony camera gods, will bless us with less of a problematic overheating situation. Time will tell. Now, what exactly will your footage look like if you were to buy the ZV-1? Well, the video on the screen right now will give you a real good indication of just that. Click that video, I'll see you there. You dig?